Welcome to our Wednesday, gosh, Monday morning trading session. Don't know where my head is at. Okay, so the NASDAQ just opened up here. Looks like things fairly quiet from the week before. So Friday's session left off here. Somewhere around the 45.60 mark. We're opening around the 45.80, 45.90, teeny tiny opening gap down here. We'll see if they try to get into that this morning. Oh, and we're just kind of flat here at the moment. I'm just taking a look around. Gold just took a little bit of a spike, and crude oil fairly quiet. All right, well, we'll just have to wait them out here. Once we get out of these yellow bars, we might have a better idea what's going on. I trust everybody had an enjoyable weekend. Mine was very nice. Spent a little time on the golf course. It's always a good day on the golf course. Well, we're just kind of waiting. So crude oil slipping much lower. Fell off substantially through the overnight. They just opened up here for the North American session and haven't done a whole lot. Not yet, anyway. Well, one thing you can do with a market that's this neutral, if you wanted to, seeing how we've kind of got our highs right here, our lows right here, you could use an OCO order. One cancels other, that's what OCO stands for. Now when you put these orders on your chart, you need to remember that they are live the moment you put them on your chart. So I tend to place them away and then pull them in. This is a little riskier because, of course, very often the market will make a false breakout. In fact, I think the exact statistic is somewhere in the neighborhood of 80% of all breakouts fail. But that's definitely an option. Here's a little note to self. You see, when your stop strategy is right where your entry order is, that's not always a good idea. Because what might happen is that your stop gets engaged, Trade Manager will automatically put an exit stop there for you. The market could go a couple bars higher, or a couple ticks higher, pardon me, and then move a couple ticks lower, which the bars do. You see they go back and forth. And you can end up stopping yourself out very quickly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to disable that for the moment. If we fill to the upside here, I'll wait for a bar or two to engage. But right now, everybody seems pretty happy where they're at. Oh good, I see Bill is in the room, and since there's nothing going on, Bill is a plethora of questions. That's a good thing, Bill. But it'll give me a chance to answer a question here about the soft edge sell. Bill was asking, he sent me an email about the soft edge sell on the Raptor. Bill's asking, with reference to the soft edge buy and soft edge sell, well, it's actually soft edge buy, soft edge sell that you were describing. These are counter trend. Yes. Yes, they are. It is our counter trend signal in the Raptor, but it does tend to be a fairly high probability signal. Bill asks, when looking at those, how important is the filter? Does the filter play a role? Example, on the soft edge buy, the filter was blue. It was also blue when you were explaining the soft edge sell. So I'm unclear as to what role the filter plays. And okay, so let me address that first, and then I'll get to the second part of Bill's question. The soft edge sell is a counter trend signal, and it's based solely on the price action itself. So the filter color does not play that much of a role to it. The soft edge sell here, we're selling on a blue filter. As with all counter trend signals, you have to have a trend going into the signal. In other words, if your market is sideways, you're neither going to have a soft edge buy or a soft edge sell. This is a soft edge sell signal because we've had something resembling higher prices. A soft edge sell shows us a market that is turning around. Therefore, it must always be preceded by a test of the extreme. It must always be preceded by a retest of the high and a failure. Now, sometimes these are a little bit subtle. You have to be paying attention. Sometimes this failure signal will develop rather quickly. You'll get a little hiccup like that. The market will come out. It will produce a sell signal, and that will be your soft edge sell. In this case, I would have deemed this signal right here my soft edge sell signal. The signal also tends to produce when the band gets very wide. I think it was Jim who first brought this to my attention, where the band gets very wide, which actually shows you an overbought situation. If you were running a typical oscillator like stochastics or RSI or MACD or something like that, it would show you a market that is very overbought. Many people don't realize that. When prices get very far away from their averages, then the market is very overbought. And when they get very far away to the downside, the market's very oversold. But it's this failure in the price that's the tip-off. That tells us, okay, the market seems to be turning over. Let's see if we get all the parameters met for a sell signal. So you would enter on the hash mark, you would cover above the high. That is your soft edge sell. Here, we actually have a soft edge buy signal. It was a little late developing, and it was a very teeny tiny retest of the low, but there it is all the same. Once again, it has to be preceded by a trend. It can't be counter trend if there's no trend preceding it. So we've got a market that's in a downtrend. We've got it attempting to recover the lows. Our entry would go here. Our stops would go down here. Why down there, you say? Well, what if this is not the last or the real retest of the low? There is a chance the market could try to dip a little bit lower before trying to head higher. But both of these, this is a soft edge buy, and this is a soft edge sell. And yes, they will occur counter trend. Here's one that we looked at on Friday. This is also a soft edge sell, even though the market technically traded a tick or two above this high. It still shows us the same thing. It shows us a market that is trying to recover an uptrend and failing. Just because it broke by a tick or two does not negate what's happening here. Now, ideally, it will come up short. Right? Ideally, here's the high. It will come up short, make for a very obvious failure. But we've got a market that's trying to make an uptrend. It's pushing here. It's pushing here. It's pushing here. We're expecting this also to push up, but it stops. And then it reverses and produces a sell signal. That is a soft edge sell. So we've got an uptrend, a failure to resume the uptrend or keep the uptrend, and then a sell signal. All right, so there's your soft edge sell. Even though technically we violated this high by a couple of ticks, it is still a soft edge sell. Now, Bill also makes the comment, also the videos on the hub or the members area, as well as the manual, discusses soft edge sell and hard edge bounces with trend. Are these less probable trades, comparatively speaking, to the counter trend soft edge buy and sell signal you were illustrating? There's been a little bit of an evolution with the Raptor in particular since the manuals came out. Because the Raptors had so much user input from Raptor owners, we actually weren't even aware of signals like the soft edge buy and sell when the manual first came out. So when we were first trading the Raptor, we were looking at hard edge bounces, and as you know from the manual, there's really only the one band. Now we're running a dual band on the Raptor, which is also a user add-on from Raptor owners. So when the Raptor first came out, we were looking for strictly signals with confluence. Namely, we would look for a bounce off the hard edge. We would look for red bars, red signal, red filter. This would have been our high probability signal. But since then, we've adopted a few other signals. And the soft edge buy and sell are actually two of very high probability signals. So I'm sorry to say the manual does need a little bit of an upgrade, but you can trust the soft edge buy signals. And that's also part of the reason that we do the trading room every day, is that we can illustrate these things for you. So I hope you got that, Bill. If not, please let me know and I'll take the time to type it all out. Sigh. No, I'll do it. But hopefully you got that. Okay, great, you did. Saved me a whole lot of typing. Your questions are more than welcome because, well, especially on a day like today, it'll help pass the time. We're getting nothing but yellow bars. We're getting nothing but sideways trading. How long has the market been open? Almost 20 minutes, and we are still tight inside this trading range. In fact, if you wanted, you could even get tighter still on your eagle. You could fashion it like this, because this is this morning's range right here. We're just stuck. One bar, just tight little sideways range. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we're printing 4 bars on precisely the same latitude. In fact, what I'll do is I'll use my logic counter and just allow for the width of this bar. Let's take a look. Tony says we got a late filter entry signal on the Falcon. Yeah, same problem here, Tony. It's just too sideways, as you're pointing out. It's just so straight. We will see a breakout here. I don't know how strong of a breakout it's going to be. The market seems very content where it's at. Good morning, Jim. Jim's advanced decline numbers here, 1160 on the buy, 1470 on the sell. That's a pretty balanced market also. It's only a difference of, well, 310, which is not very much. Well, let's put that on the shelf. Could be a few traders starting to think breakout here and starting to channel this tight little range. We may not be alone in this. Let's see. Bill's got a question here about the YM. Aha! The YM Raptor. Bill's asking, not sure if your RTS shows the same, but my RTS using the YM looks like a cloud crossover using the 8-tick cloud. Yes, sir. I think you are correct on that. So the cloud's starting to cross here on the YM, the mini Dow. And we would anticipate the market to move into this cloud and then for the cloud to offer support to it or resistance and push the market out of the cloud. If that's the case, we should produce a sell signal, and that would be a cloud crossover signal. Almost looks like the YM trying to get into the gap. Maybe. But you're correct. That's a good call. Well done. Yeah, Jim says oil stagnant. Everybody's just stuck. Like Tony says, this is moving slow and sideways. Summer's officially here in the markets. Yeah, this is a really quiet day. Really quiet. You know, funny thing is last August was actually pretty brisk. I remember. July, yeah, actually July was a bit of a pill. You guys could hear my typing. Tony says, holy smokes, Eric, you really type fast. Yeah, well, I was one of those guys who took typing in high school to meet girls. When typing was still a class offered in high school. Didn't meet many girls, but I sure got good at typing. I remember shortly after I graduated, I went for a job interview. I forget exactly where it was, but typing was a prerequisite. And this, of course, is before the days of word processors. But we did have the IBM Selectric typewriter, so at least it wasn't a manual typewriter. And the guy asked how many words I could type a minute, and I said 60 words a minute. And he looked at me like I was lying. I said, do you want me to show you? I always tease Adam whenever we're having a Skype conversation or something because he's a hunt and peck typist. So I always will write lines and lines of messages to him before he can even get one back to me. But I think he got a dictation program so that he can keep up, so he can talk to the computer. All right. right, we might be producing a buy signal here. It's actually a follow through from the red bar buy. That'll be interesting. So the signal is going to print right here at 45.91. I may have my entry a touch far back. There, we'll just go on the other side of 45.92. Don't forget, when the market's moving this sideways, sometimes the second push entry is a great signal to employ. So here I can demonstrate it here on the Raptor, or we've also got a similar thing going on the Falcon. So we allow the signal to engage, and then we let the market retreat from the signal. What that does is it shows us the current limits of the market. Once we see that, and we want it to retreat a long ways. This one actually retreated well down here. It came a long ways down. So what we're looking now is we're looking for the renewed momentum to bring us back into the marketplace. If the buyers are truly moving the market, you can also wait for a larger move against. So for instance, this wasn't a signal, but I'm just using these bars to illustrate. Oh, here's a good one too. So the signal produced, you let the bar print, you look for that bar with the wick on it, and that is now where your entry is going to go. And you can see in this case, you took a considerable amount of heat before the market decided to come back, and you'd be more or less at break even right now. Here too, we could have done the same thing that we're doing on the Eagle, namely letting the market break above this high, which is the overnight high. Come on, let's go. You're going to try to break out. Let's go. There we go. All right, so it looks like we've actually got a little bit of upside momentum. I should try to get a stop and play here also. So when you use your OCO orders, you actually don't have a profit target. So it's not a bad idea sometimes to keep a look on your P&L so that you don't do anything silly. Okay, so the Raptor trade now in a break-even situation. Hopefully they don't look too far behind. Oh, there they go. Hooray. We'll change to the parabolics. And I think this is going to be the move of the day, folks. Here the eagle also getting very close to our break-even trigger. And I think I'll go with parabolics here also. Okay, so we got a couple singles in play. We'll see how we're able to ride these out. Bill's asking on your Raptor, what's that green line? This is something that Jim brought to my attention again. I followed it for a little while and then I kind of forgot about it, and then we started the Raptor, and Jim was one who was always monitoring the first hour high and low. Now, Jim actually did his own version of this particular tool. This is the indicator warehouse one. About the only difference between the two is that this one resizes with the chart. So what this green line, this dotted green line does, these are called the initial balance lines from Indicator Warehouse. And the cool thing about the initial balance lines is that you can actually program a bunch of lines in here. You can do extensions, you can do pivots, you can highlight all kinds of stuff. I'm really only interested in the opening range high and opening range low. That's all I have it set up for. And what it does is it shows you the first half hour's trading, the extremes, the high and the low. Why is that important, you say? Well, very often the market will find resistance or support at the high and the lows. So here was the other day, the market broke down, kind of swung through. Very often it will be much tighter to these lows, and then the market will fall off. Sometimes these lines will even have emphasis the next day. So if we take a look at today's trading, here was Friday's 10 a.m. high. So we'll see whether or not that bounces the market. Yes, Bill, it says so after the top of the hour, it will go horizontal. That's correct. Or whatever I set. I only have it set for the first half hour. So from the open to the first half hour of trading, that's normally considered opening range. Most times that is when the big players come in, they dump, well, I don't want to say dump their orders, but they place their orders, and all that volume kind of sets the range for the day. So that when and if prices retreat back here to this 45.93.25 level, since that was kind of the high of the first half hour, we might expect to see some support there. But today, I don't think it's going to be as influential because this big spike here is kind of the buyers coming in, the commercials, kind of setting the tone for the day. So today's opening range, kind of drifting past that first half hour. It looks like it's going to be about 35, 40 minutes. Jim, I agree with you entirely. Jim making a very good comment here. Surprising, Jim says, surprising how much internal and geopolitical drama going on and the market is flat. Or you could even say that the market is rising. You know, you look at the economics of everything and how the market seems to be artificially overvalued, and yet the market goes up because money is still cheap. When that train stops, though, oh my gosh, things could turn lower in a hurry. But the way the stock market has been, I'm not sure we're going to see any major adjustments. All right, so they're slowing somewhat here. We're going to get a little bit of a swing. What have we got in open profit? Well, that's nothing to sneeze at, $170, especially since I do think this might be the move of the day. You are getting a first micro-macro cross signal here on the hawk. This is a tough one. I would take it above the high. Well, you definitely have to cover below or try to cover below this morning's range because this is very likely going to go into a macro pullback phase. We'll throw that on. But the market does seem to be bullish. So we'll look for any reason to buy. All right, and since we just have a single going on this one, I'll see if I can't run it out. I'll extend my break even maybe a couple of ticks to where my profit target would be. Come on, get going. Don't stop now. Okay, so the market seems to like it a little better when I've got the smaller screens going. So we'll move into a parabolic mode here now, and I do believe, did we hit the break-even trigger? Oh, we did. How come it didn't roll me to break even? We can, I'll allow the parabolics to adjust the trade here. Come on. Now we're going to see a little bit of a reset here. All right, well, I'm just going to go grab a coffee. I'll be right back. It looks like we're going to get tagged here on our Hawk trade and possibly on our Raptor trade as well. I'll be back in just a couple of moments. Oh, it looks like it was a good time to go get a coffee because I've avoided doing something silly with my trade. Looks like the parabolics held me in here on the Hawk trade. The Raptor trade, we're still holding on as we are with the Eagle trade. So hooray for us. We are producing a trend change signal here on the Falcon. It is a valid signal. I'll tell you, I would be... oh, good. Trade manager won't allow me to take it because I was going to say I would be a little, well, I don't want to say hesitant. It's a valid signal, but where do I cover this? At the very least, I need to cover it down there. And that's kind of putting it out of reach for my risk parameters. I'm already in the 3 other trades, so I'm not going to add to this one. The market is going up, though. And like I said, you need any excuse to buy in. The problem is not the direction, rather it's the stop placement. All right, well, we're just kind of nursing this trade higher. Haven't really got subsequent signals. Crude oil still dead flat. Gold kind of waffling a little bit. Well, I'm still here. Just nothing going on. Well, we're really getting some follow through here on the bullish side. I know, not a very eventful day today, is it? Oops. But at least we're on the profitable side of a trade. Let's see how are we doing here. Oh, we're doing okay there. Got 250 locked in with almost another $75 on the table. $75 there. And how are we doing here? Fantastic. I think I'm going to try to get a little bit more aggressive with this trade. The parabolics maybe just a little bit too far back. I might go with the bar high low. We're starting to get into that zone where I don't feel comfortable leaving too much money on the table. And I'll allow the parabolics to continue with the hawk trade as well. Go Bulls. Wow, what a rally. Well, it's a boring day, but at the same time, it's a profitable day. So it's never a bad day when you're making money. Wow, it is a rocket ship today. In fact, I think I'm going to get a little bit more aggressive here on the Raptor also, maybe move into the bar high-low strategy. Protect a few extra dollars in profit. As it almost appears as though we're starting to get a little bit more resistance to the move higher. Yeah, I agree, Tony. Tony says, never has such a boring, ugly day been so profitable. And you know what, folks? This is the move of the day. This is it right here. The market, after such a strong bull rally, is going to remain bullish. But, you know, we may have to sit through a couple of mini pullbacks or a little bit of sideways action. There's no way the sellers are going to be, well, I shouldn't say no way, but it's highly improbable that the sellers will be able to reverse the market today. What's more likely is that they'll end up pushing the market sideways if, in fact, the sellers show up. All right, so we got stopped here on the Hawk trade. That's a very good scalp. $180 on a single. And I think we're just about to get tagged here on the Raptor. Just out of curiosity, will the parabolics hold me in? All right, so that's excellent move on the Raptor. Again, that was just a single. Just a single we took a chance with and let it run out. And now we're nursing our Eagle trade. Jim's asking, Erica, are you still trading August crude or September? I think I'm still in August. Hold on a second here. Let me check the expiration date on crude. It does tend to sneak up on me. August crude, July 20th. So we're good for, oh, actually, I guess we should roll. I'll roll at the end of the day here into the September contract. Thanks for reminding me, Jim. Come on, Eagle. So let's see, did I stop out of that Raptor trade prematurely? Oh, maybe. The parabolics would have held me in just a little bit longer. Oh well, I can't complain. That was still a very good run up on the Raptor. And I'm going to nurse this Eagle trade along. Wow, so even this Falcon signal that was produced back here, which was our high probability trend change signal, even though I couldn't muster the nerve to, well, either increase my risk exposure or run a tighter stop on it, it too has made a nice little rally higher. Gary's saving us with a question. Gary asked, Eric, what are your Raptor clouds? He says, mine are 6 and 8. My Raptor clouds are 8 and 12. So the one cloud I have at 8 ticks, and the other cloud is the default 12 ticks. That seems to work well for the vast majority of the markets. The sole exception of popular markets seems to be the E-mini S&P, in which case we need to do a little bit of finagling. We need to dial down our brick size to 4 ticks. And then on our Raptor, we're also going to dial down the Hawk bar brick size to 4 ticks. And then we're going to run I think it was a 4 and a 6 brick cloud. And that will give you a nice smooth E-mini chart. And I'm going to adjust my crude oil right now before I forget about it. Go into the September contract. It's just as sideways as the August contract, in case anybody's wondering. Well, folks, I think we're going to button up the room a few minutes early here today. We're not missing anything. If you missed the move this morning, don't panic. There will be more moves like this. Believe me when I say it won't be the last move that you miss. I miss plenty of moves like this. And we'll get together again tomorrow, and, well, we'll see what the market's giving us then. I don't think we're going to see it rally too much further than it is right now. The market has made a very pronounced rally. It took them a little while to get going, but they've been rallying for almost 45 minutes. And that's kind of going to put a strain on the buying. So look for some profit taking to go on here. Perhaps a little bit of a reset. As I said, I don't think we're going to see a full-blown reversal, but that doesn't mean we won't see the market make some sort of retracement. Maybe here even as far as the hard edge on our trading band, which could see prices trade as low as 45.94-ish. maybe 4,600 would be more realistic. All right, you guys and girls, I'll see you tomorrow morning then. Bye for now.